The Marvels release its latest promo image, and fans are ripping it apart. We all know that the internet can be a vicious place. You do not visit sites like Twitter and Reddit to get objective and well thought out opinions. Mostly, it is a place for people to have fun. It is also a place where people do not hold back at all, and if you make the wrong move, you will be mocked. Often, it is unprovoked and unjustified. Other times, you have it coming. The latest promo for the Marvels is one of those cases where the mocking is entirely justified. In the spirit of complete objectivity, I will admit that not all the hate towards the movie is justified. There are certainly people who are judging this movie before it even releases. Those judgments often have little to do with the story and instead just who they decided to cast. However, poor acting choices can be a massive turnoff. If I have to give my opinion on this movie, I will confess that I will likely not see it. It is nothing personal against anyone, it does not appeal to me. Except for Spiderman and Loki, I have not watched anything from Marvel over the last few years. They did great within the first 3 phases, and I was thrilled with how everything ended. Beyond that, this cinematic universe has passed me by. However, plenty of people are still invested in the story. This universe is far from concluded, and the Marvels is vital leading up to the next Avengers movie. It is no secret that the Marvels are struggling to find their place within the universe. Many fans have awaited this film's release since the announcement that there will be a follow-up to Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. Sadly, the intended release dates have gone, and the movie is still not here. The Marvels had an original release date of July 8, 2022. The studio could not make this deadline, and the film was pushed back to February 17th of this year. You likely know where this is going. They failed to meet the deadline again, and the movie received a third release date of July 28th. The Marvels is now slated for a November 10th release date. These delays made people suspicious about what was happening behind the scenes. Although movies are pushed around all the time, full reschedules are unusual. Reports started to make the rounds that severe behind-the-scenes drama was going on. It is worth pointing out that none of these speculations are confirmed. However, since they are missing their release by over a year and a half, it is evident that something is going on. Regardless of the behind-the-scenes drama, plenty exists to discuss in the open. The Marvels released its first trailer a few months ago, and since then, the audience has been even more divided. Although there is some hostile reception towards this movie, they still have loyal followers. Unfortunately, recent box office disasters prove that even the most dedicated fan bases will leave if they do not like specific stories. There is plenty of conversation around this movie. Sadly, not everything is positive. While some say all publicity is good, we know this is false. Relentless hate does not translate to views. Marvel recently released a new promo poster for this film, making me wonder what the graphics department is doing. It looks like something I created as part of my first YouTube thumbnails. It might feel that people are nitpicking at things to hate, and maybe they are, but this is an easy target. There is also plenty of reason why fans are pointing toward this poster. We all know that Disney and Marvel have poor CGI track records. Their post-visual effects have been under mass scrutiny over the last few years. When people see poorly edited photos like this, they start to worry. Many think that the movie is already a mess behind the scenes. Plenty of reports suggest they had to reshoot some scenes. Posters like this do nothing to ease people's concerns. It does not help that Marvel is under pressure to perform. Their latest slate of superhero movies could be doing better. Although the first 3 phases made them over $20 billion, it has been downhill since then. This is not to say that they are operating at a loss. The studio is still profitable, but its movies are no longer guaranteed box office hits. There used to be a time when every film they released would make billions. Although movies like Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy continue to impress, they are far removed from the glory days. Particular successes do prove that there is still an appetite for superhero movies. However, some failures also confirm that fans will no longer accept anything. If you want fans to pay for your film, you must put in the effort. It is not just the Marvels that we should be worried about at the box office. Over the last few years, we have seen many big-budget movies fail. The most recent example of this is the latest Flash movie. The budget for this movie was $220 million. Thus far, they have made about $240 million worldwide. Considering the budget for this movie, they will have to make at least double that to break even if you factor in advertising and marketing. It is doubtful that the studio will make much money. Instead, they could lose out on over $100 million. Another box office disappointment is Indiana Jones. The movie bombed hard and is considered a $300 million flop. This recent disappointment makes people wonder if our days in the cinema might just be over. However, some push back by stating that the cinemas are not dying. It is only individual franchises with lousy storytelling. I certainly agree with this. Although we see many box office disasters, there are plenty of examples of films making billions. The recent decline proves that fans will no longer tolerate anything. There are much more options out there now. With streaming services taking off, studios must work much harder to capture the audience's attention. You can no longer take their ticket money for granted. Despite this drop, studios will continue to make billions. However, now it will only be tens of billions instead of hundreds. With the expectation of forever growth, however, that these companies have, I am sure this will devastate them. Ultimately, we must wait and see what fate awaits the Marvels. Although we might have some fun over a poorly edited poster, I do not wish this movie to fail. I might not be their target audience, but I hope they go on to make billions. Sadly, with the recent decline of Marvel, that is very unlikely. A significant directional shift within the company is needed to recapture its former success. At this point, fans might be too tired of certain superhero movies. While the mainstays like Spiderman, Batman, and Superman will always have an audience, many lesser heroes might be fading away.